Everyone, Master Phoenix here, and welcome to another draft breakdown, aka the start of another draft league. This time in the doubles format, my home advantage format. This isn't singles, this is doubles, which means I'm more comfortable and more at home. So, speaking of at home, I'm in a different environment. I'll probably try and make different environments with different draft breakdowns just to be it more pleasing to the eyes. If people care to stare at random Grookies and Crabrawlers and hordes of Trumbeak harassing passerbys for some reason, or somehow two female Meowsticks. Anyway, that's not what you're here to see. You're here to see the team that I have drafted for the very first season / rebranding of the ADL, the Avian Draft League, if I remember the name correctly. But yeah. This is run by Toby, a fellow coach that I'm aware of, and this is special in two ways. Most people it would be special in one way, but for me it's special in two ways. I'll go over the more personal one before the main rule of this league. I'm playing in two divisions. I'm playing in both the Staraptor division and the Talonflame division. This is the draft breakdown for the Staraptor division. Staraptor, go! Sorry. I don't know why I was coughing there. Talon trash! Sorry. I am so sorry for the coughing. Yeah, this is the draft breakdown for the Staraptor division, which is the division that finished first because they're better. I am so sorry about these coughing, by the way. I am so sorry. I don't normally cough this much. Talon is still drafted at this point. I am so sorry, guys. I am so sorry. Anyway, let's just get on with this before my cough gets any worse. Anyway, so let's go over the team. But before that, I will go over the main rule of this draft league. So, most draft leagues, there are two rules. Either Pokemon have limited selections on Terras, there's Terra Captains, there's every Pokemon can Terra, there's open Terra team sheets, there's closed Terra team sheets, there's different ways that people play around with the Terra mechanic, and this league is no exception. However, it's different to what I've seen in any other league, and I honestly really like the mechanic. The mechanic is that any Pokemon with 30 points and under, it's a pure point draft, can terrestrialize. Anything got 31 points and over cannot terrestrialize. So, it's more of a double-edged sword in the fact that the top tiers can't Terra to either increase their output or Terra defensively, but it also increases the counterplay of the lower tiers, as it allows them to be more versive, that's not even a word, more varied in their movesets and choices, since they can terrestrialize, whereas the top tiers cannot. That was a cough, by the way. Anyway, so yeah, in this league, lower tiers can terrestrialize. So essentially, lower tiers can terrestrialize, but higher tiers cannot. So, say, Ursaluna Blood Moon cannot terrestrialize, Urshifu cannot terrestrialize, Tornadus cannot terrestrialize, but my first pick, Infernape, can terrestrialize. So, what does Infernape do? So, it got near the threshold. It's worth 30 points, so it can terrestrialize, but just by the skin of its teeth. So, this was literally just a fun pick, basically. Because, basically, at the start, we were just doing fun picks, where we picked, Terra Threshold good Pokemon just for fun picks, no sweat, 40, 50 pointers. Well, first pointer wasn't Iron Hands, but we don't talk about Iron Hands. Anyway, yeah, more on Infernape. So, I kind of have always wanted to use Infernape. It wasn't in Sword and Shield, if my memory serves me correctly. It was in Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, but, I only did one draft league in that, and I was so out of it then. But anyway, I've been kind of waiting for a draft league to open up where Infernape kind of has a good placement in order to be able to use it. It's a starter Pokemon that I've kind of always been a bit fond of. I always like running this thing in Platinum. And you'll notice that the theme of this team is kind of just fun. I use Pokemon that I like. I use Pokemon that I've never used in Draft League before. And this is one of them. I've wanted to use Infernape. I like Infernape. So yeah. Also, Infernape has so many tools in this format that can make it amazing. Iron Fist Terror being an amazing wall breaker, because not everything can terrestrialize to block the fire and fighting moves with Infernape. It gets Fake Out for helpful priority Fake Outing. It's got a good speed stat. It can be run physical or special due to its attack and special attack stats, and its speed stat. Thing is, it's as frail as a stick though, so it's mainly just going to be terroring offensively. I feel like this thing, I'm not going to really defensively terror it too often, but that could change though. I feel like I'm just mainly going to offensively terror it potentially. Might be giving too much away here, but who cares? But yeah, that is, I think, everything I have to say about Infernape. Also, it gets taunt as well. It's a fast taunter. So yeah, anyway, that is my first pick. So, next pick is something that I've wanted to use since the start of the Scarlet and Violet format, but I've never gotten a chance to use it. 2 draft leagues in a row, I was 8th pick, and this thing went 7th pick. And I was kind of mad. I've been wanting to use this thing for ages. It's the one, the only VGC Fluttermane. No, Fluttermane! Don't beat up the Crabrawlers! That's not what you're here to do. Hi, I'm OP. What's that? Hang on. Fluttermane! Thank you. Synchro Machine. Thank you. I have Fluttermane. So, as you can kind of guess, this thing can't terrestrialize, so it's stuck as a permanent ghost and fairy type. So this is both a double-edged sword in the fact that this thing can kind of just hit things offensively with its stabs for no drawback. Like, nothing can terrestrialize dark, nothing can terrestrialize fire, nothing can terrestrialize steel. Well, lots of things can. To resist its fairy moves, nothing can terrestrialize normal or dark to be able to block its ghost moves. And, yeah. Or it's like coverage moves like Thunderbolt and Power Gem. But the downside is Fluttermane sometimes relied on stuff like Defensive Water to kind of just tank specific hits, as well as also the fact that it used to always Terrestrialize Fairy to get maximum power output. But I can't do that with Fluttermane, but I'm kind of fine with it. Like, I feel like trading your ability to be more offensive and less defensively ridden for the fact that you can spam your stabs more, I feel like is probably worth it. Plus, as I said, I'm doing fun. I am not doing this for sweatiness, even though I have the most sweatiest VGC Pokemon on my team. Yeah, so what does Fluttermane do? I mean, what does it not do? It spams Ghost Stabs, it spams Fairy Stabs, it has speed control with Icy Wind, it is base 135 speed, it is base 135 special attack, it dies to any physical move on the planet, and it has actual decent good special defense stat, with also 135. Photosynthesis, so you can either get a Choice Scarf boost or a Life Orb boost to its special attack, special defense, or speed. Well, Choice Scarf with its speed and the other 2 Life Orb boosted. If I want to use like a slightly worse Assault Pest version of this thing. But I don't know why I would ever run this thing not offensive, I feel like. But anyway, yeah. Fluttermane also gets stuff like Imprison, Trick Room. It can set Trick Room itself if I want to set Trick Room. Also, all those Popplios look shiny, by the way. Am I the only person that thinks those Popplios look shiny? Anyway, I feel like I'm getting distracted so much in this draft breakdown. I'm sorry, but like, yeah. So this is Fluttermane. Hello, this is Fluttermane. I don't know what else to kind of say about this Pokemon. Everyone kind of knows what this thing does at this point, so I don't really need to go any more on this thing. Aside from saying it just spams fairy moves, it spams ghost moves. Okay, next Pokemon is a stare at the blank, naked eye Pokemon. You're like, what the heck is this thing? Why have you drafted this thing third? What the heck does this thing do? Well, I'm telling you that Jumpluff is really good. Stop! No, don't kill Pokemon. I'm pressing the wrong buttons. I'm sorry. But yeah, Jumpluff. Tiny, pink, fluffy ball that dies if it gets caught in the wind too much. Yeah, anyway. What does Jumpluff do? It has base 55 attack, it has base 55 special attack, so this thing ain't doing damage for anything, but it has a good speed stat base 110, and it has decent abilities at best. Where this Pokemon comes in and shines is its move pool. Its status move pool for its supporting roster, it's incredible. Like, before this draft, I didn't really know why people picked Jumpluff. I knew it was a fast Tailwind user. I knew it had Chlorophyll, so it's good for speed control. It gets Sleep Powder, which, like, it's inaccurate. I was like, why is this thing so highly regarded as really good? Well, now I freaking know. It gets Rage Powder, it gets Cotton Spore, it gets Charm, it gets Taunt, I think. But it gets an incredible supporting roster because it can redirect attacks. Obviously, it has Tailwind. It gets Cotton Spore, so it can further reduce special speed, not special attack. Maybe it does that, I'm not sure. But this thing also gets Pollen Puff, so it can heal allies. This thing's insane. Plus, also, this thing can terrestrialize, just like Infernape. It's on the verge of being able to terrestrialize its 30 points. I don't know if I'm going to be terrestrializing this thing. This thing is literally just maybe 2 to 3 turns of good status moves, and then it dies. But I feel like this thing could maybe do some things, like max special attack plus special attack. Leaf Storm kills a Blood Moon Ursaluna. So take that knowledge with you will. This thing can Oko Blood Moon Ursaluna with an Assault Vest. So yeah. But yeah. I'm kind of happy. I didn't know this thing could land. Oh, it's adorable, bro. Jumpluff is also adorable. This thing is 10 out of 10 just for adorableness alone. Also, Shiny's a good Shiny, but I don't really use Shinies. Anyway, next Pokemon is a Pokemon that I'm excited to use. Mainly just because it is the GOAT. The literal GOAT. And it rolls. What's more to love about this Pokemon apart than it rolls? You see me rolling, 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 rolling. Never mind. Anyway, so yeah, Donphan. The rolling Pokemon itself. So what does this thing do? Well, it's a pretty physically bulky Pokemon with Sturdy. So it's pure ground type, obviously. It can fire off strong moves. It has good coverage for what it is. Like, it has Play Rough, it has Ice Shard for priority. It has knockoff, so it can remove items. Like, this thing's a really good physical Pokemon, and it's base 50 speed, which is very, very slow compared to all my Pokemon that I've drafted so far. Like, Flutterbane is 135, Infernape's 108, Jumpluff is 110. Like, Donphan kind of just is a slow Pokemon. But I wanted to draft it. Shoutouts to Toby's GOAT. This thing is the absolute GOAT. Because it is the GOAT. And if anyone named Pharaoh or Nick tells you otherwise that this thing is trash, tell him he's a liar and he should go in the trash bucket. No, he shouldn't. Nick's a good guy. He just has terrible opinions. Like saying Duraludon is trash and this thing is trash. Neither are trash, you just don't know how to use them. I feel like I'm being so mean to Nick here, but yeah. Donphan, it's a good Pokemon. It's 26 points, so I can also terrestrialize it. You're kind of seeing a pattern here, right? I'm drafting a lot of Pokemon that are just under the radar of the Terra threshold. That's going to change now, and I cannot wait to talk about this next Pokemon. People who know me, people who definitely know me, know my favorite Pokemon. And as you can see here, my favorite Pokemon, back in the day when I first started Pokemon, till now, to 10 years from now, will always be this guy right here. The best Kanto starter, Blastoise. I love this man. Finally get to use him in draft. I'm so excited. Man is slow as all can be, by the way, in the Synchro Machine. But I'm super excited to use this man. And he isn't even bad. Sadly, though, he is 32 points, so he cannot terrestrialize. Would have loved to fire off Terra Water Spouts, but even without terrestrialization, Blastoise is a pretty good Pokemon entirely. Like, I don't know what is bad about this Pokemon. Like, it's a bulky water type. It can be offensive. It can be supportive. It gets stuff like Fake Out. Gets Icy Wind. I think it gets Helping Hand on Life Dew, but I'm not 100% sure. But it also could be offensive as it gets Shell Smash, meaning I can use, like, Rage Powder, Jumpluff, Shell Smash, Blastoise, or just Rage Powder, Water Spout in general. Its abilities are subpar. Like, Rain Dish is good if I can set Rain with Jumpluff, or Fluttermane. I think Fluttermane gets Rain Dance, I'm not sure. But yeah, Blastoise can do speed control, it can be supportive, it can be offensive, it can be physical. Since this gen it actually got Wave Crash, which is actually massive as it allows it to be more physical. Because people were running it special just due to the fact of it getting almost zero. It's due to its physical water moves being subpar compared to its special ones. And the fact that it had 2 more special attack than physical attack. But now he has a base 120 power physical water move. I feel like physical Blastoise might be something that I run more often than not. But yeah, this thing gets pretty good water moves. It gets Water Pledge, meaning I can run Water Pledge, Fire Pledge if I wanted to with Infernape and Blastoise. That'd be kind of cool, increasing the chance of secondary effects on moves hitting. I'm not even sure if my team really has any special secondary effects moves, maybe aside from something like Shadow Ball on Fluttermane, Moonblast on Fluttermane. But yeah, I love Blastoise so much. I'm so glad and happy that I can finally use this thing. I knew if I was doing this league for fun, I needed to put my man Blastoise on the team. He's the GOAT, the real GOAT. Even though Dom fans are GOAT, this guy is the real GOAT. The real steel with the cannon so real. I don't even know if that's a word. Anyway, let's move on to my next Pokemon, which, just before I'm saying it's toxic, this thing is not trash. This thing is God tier. We have the one and only Mega Man, aka Galarian Slowbro. I've used regular Slowbro, and as you'll see in the next draft breakdown, I will be using another member of the Slow family. Not regular Slowbro or Galarian Slowbro. Take my hand to the kings! The kings! But this is about Galarian Slowbro. And this thing sets Trick Room pretty decently. I'm pretty sure Quick Claw Trick Room is possible. Look at my man spin with his gun. I don't know why he's biting you. Use your arm cannon for crying out loud. Okay, that's not what I meant. Anyway, this thing could be physical or special due to its split offense stats. It's kind of bulky on the physical side and semi-bulky on the special side. It's incredibly slow at base 30, so right now it's the slowest member of my team. And I'm pretty sure out of every single Pokemon on my team, it is the slowest member. But that doesn't change the fact that I can quick claw, quick draw things into oblivion. And people who have faced me with Galarian Slowbro know that my luck with Quick Claw, Quick Draw is kind of insane. Like, it's just under halfway to 100% chance for Quick Claw, Quick Draw to activate, but just like, I feel like I just get it more often than not. I'm pretty sure I got it back to back to back to back. Like, I got it 4 times in a row before. Versus, I think it was Nick or Jake. I don't know, one of the two, I ended up getting this thing, like, Quick Draw, Quick Claw, back to back to back to back. Like, 4 times in a row. Plus, this thing is a good, offensive duo of attacks, Poison and Steel. Plus, obviously, it's a slow pro. It has good coverage like Ice Beam, Flamethrower. I don't know what else it gets. It gets water moves. And as I said, it can be physical or special. Plus, it has a signature move called Shell Sidearm. I'm not sure how good that's going to be because it changes physical or special depending on calculations, depending on which does more damage, which I feel like it's good, but just Sludge Bomb, I feel like it's more consistent, or Poison Jab. I feel like this thing should get Gunshot, by the way. But yeah, Galarian Slowbro is a Pokemon that I'm excited for. Plus, again, it can Terastallize. And I'm happy about this, because this guy can actually do some things and not die to a Shadow Ball. And it allows me to be more offensive with my coverage moves and more supportive with my supportive move ball. So yeah, I'm kind of excited to use Galarian Slowbro, as it's a Pokemon I've been wanting to use in draft specifically for ages now. And I finally get to use it. Let's grab the last 4 members of the team. One of these isn't actually the Pokemon that I drafted, because I'm not getting its specific form. I'm not going into Legends Arceus to get its specific form. But yeah. Next up is a very low pointer Pokemon that, even though it has the ability to Terastallize, I probably won't. It probably will just die in 1 to 2 turns. I drafted Shroodle. Yes, Shroodle. Not Grafaiai, Shroodle. This little guy. Who's adorable, by the way. Grafaiai's ugly, this guy's adorable. And I just realized that I've used both of these Pokemon. I have Grafaiai in singles, and I have this guy in doubles, and also Grafaiai again in doubles. Ooh, spoilers! Okay. Lick my boot. Lick the boot. Never mind. Anyway, voice crack. Shroodle gets Prankster just like its evolved form. But obviously its move pool is worse. Like, and also its offensive move pool is garbage. Like, it's got base 75 attack, so I feel like the only thing this thing is ever going to do in terms of attacking moves is knock off and super bang. Like, half HP stuff and get rid of items. But this thing is decent. Like, it gets Encore, it gets Taunt, it gets Sunny Day, it gets Rain Dance. Meaning that I can send this thing out with Flutter Mane, set up Sun, maybe Encore things to protect, so I can focus down other threats. And also, this thing also gets Pardon Shot, I think. It gets U-Turn, I know that. This thing literally has U-Turn on its set. Like, it also gets Swagger, it gets Flatter, so I can do some weird stuff with that if I wanted to. But yeah, I'm kind of excited to use this thing. It's a small little thing. It's not going to be brought every single week. Like, it may get brought like 1 or 2 weeks, maybe even 3. Like, there's some matches where I need to bring this thing for weather control and other little things. Plus, also, it's another poison type, and I don't really want to stack up on too many ground weaknesses into a team. Since I'm pretty sure every team basically has a good ground type. And also Pokemon that can terrestrialize into a ground type anyway. Every team has a lot of terrestrial Pokemon. So yeah. The next Pokemon is in the wrong form, by the way. It's in the wrong form. Because I can't be bothered to go into PLA and get its evolved form. So yeah, we have... Sorry. I don't know why this thing's been like this. I have chosen Hisuian Sliggoo. I drafted Hisuian. I didn't draft this regular form. I'm this Pokemon just because I want it to be kind of just normal. Like, just so I can actually have something to show and talk about. So Hisuian Sliggoo is base 40 speed, so it's slower than Donphan, but faster than Slowbro. It's like another Trick Room Pokemon. It's Steel Dragon, which is incredibly defensive typing. Plus, it gets access to Eviolite, so it gets a free Assault Vest plus a free Physical Assault Vest. Which, for a Steel Dragon type with amazing special defense, decent HP, and alright defense, this thing can actually be kind of tanky to take down. Sadly, unlike its evolved form, it doesn't get Body Press, but Iron Defense is still pretty nice. This thing's actually kind of fast just move around. It's faster than Blastoise. Anyway. It gets pretty decent special move pool with a decent special attack stat. Obviously, Steel Dragon is the best offensive type since it just gets walled by other steel types. But yeah, it's just Pokemon that can do things. It gets Sap Sipper, so that being able to terrestrialize into something like a ground type or a water type. I feel like it's going to be pretty good. It's going to be brought to some matchups. It's a 7-pointer. It's literally my lowest point Pokemon on my team. I don't think it's going to be brought to every match. It might be brought to like 1 or 2. If it's like a hard Trick Room matchup that I need to go into. Like, Galarian Slowbro, Donphan, and Hisuian Sliggoo can do some stuff. So yeah, that is Hisuian Sliggoo. Hisuian, by the way, not the regular form. I don't know how many times I've said this. So, technically, my next 2 picks would be Iron Forms and Flapple. But I did 2 Grace Period trades to trade them out. So, in place of Iron Forms, we have Rotom Fan. So, I chose to trade this thing instead of Iron Forms, just because Iron Forms basically has to terrestrialize. And its typing is kind of bad. Rock Electric is a bad typing. Meanwhile, Electric Flying is pretty good typing, honestly. Only having 2 weaknesses in Rock and Ice, and they're not the 2 most common types in Draft. Like, stuff might terrestrialize into Rock to be defensive against certain Pokemon, like Flying types, but, like, they're not the most common type of moves that you see flying around. Mix of Rotom's pretty good bulk, this thing can lift some hits. It gets things that Rotoms do, like Electro Web, Will-O-Wisp, Thunder Wave, classic Thunderbolt, Discharge shenanigans with ground types, as I have Donphan, so I can Disquake with Donphan and Rotom Fan. Another reason I chose this thing is I want to break through water types. If you look at the rest of my team, there's really nothing I can do to really, really bulky water types. Like pure water types, like Suicune, or... I'm trying to think of more bulky water types that's just like on the brain. If I was facing a Blastoise, I'd have trouble breaking through a Blastoise. I'd have trouble breaking through a Suicune. And also just flying types in general. My team kind of struggles to hit flying types. And also just hit offensively with flying types. As I wanted something to kind of hit with the flying typing. Rather than just, I don't know, base 55 attack acrobatics from Jumpluff. So having this thing, having a good old stab air slash is going to sting some things. Obviously electric. Plus having levitate with the ability to terrestrialize is going to be really good, as it allows me to terrestrialize into types weak to ground, but not be weak to ground due to levitate. It's the only time Rotom Fan actually will get use out of levitate. Because if you guys don't know, this thing is electric flying with levitate. I should probably give this thing an air balloon. Anyway, yeah, this thing can be offensive, it can be supportive, it can be bulky, it can be fast with a pretty good speed stat of 86. So yeah, on to my final Pokemon of this draft, which I traded over from Flapple. We have Leafeon. Leafeon! Which is another evolution to my reservoir of used evolutions. Which I've used Umbreon, I've used Espeon, I've used Jolteon, I've used Sylveon. Meaning the only evolutions at this point I haven't used are Flareon, Vaporeon, and Glaceon. Which all three I've tried to use at some point. Like, I've had them on the brain on drafts, but I haven't drafted any of them. But now I can say that I've drafted Leafeon, which I've kind of been excited to use this thing. Pokemon Unite has kind of changed my opinion of this Pokemon. I used to play this Pokemon non-stop in Pokemon Unite when it was really good. Kind of fallen off, and I've been playing it more quite recently, to be honest. It's a pretty good Pokemon in Pokemon Unite, but we're not talking about Pokemon Unite, damn it. We're talking about Pokemon Draft. And this thing is 19 points. Rotom Fan can, as I said, terrestrialize, so can this thing, which will really help out Leafeon due to its limited coverage. Like, it got knockoff this gen, which I feel like it needed, as Pure Grass and normal moves kind of left it kind of sparing for physical move options. So having the ability to terrestrialize this thing like fire, water, to be able to hit the types that it can't with grass is really nice. It's pretty fast at base 95 speed, which helps out its some speed tierings on my team. Like, it is a good defense stat, which is actually kind of not what it wants to do. It wants to be hit hard, it wants to be speedy, yet it has a pretty good defense stat and an average HP stat. So having something which can tank a physical hit just generally in a pinch, naturally, is pretty good. It has Leaf Guard and Chlorophyll, so Shroodle could potentially set the sun, so could Jumpluff, so this thing can double its speed, as if Tailwind wasn't already in effect. This thing has a good physical move pool. It gets Leaf Blade. If Sun's up, I can run Solar Blade. It gets Quick Attack, so it has decent priority options. It gets Iron Tail, I'm pretty sure. It also gets Knockoff, as I said. It can set up with stuff like Swords Dance. It can Baton Pass, I think. So yeah, Leafeon is a pretty good lower tier Pokemon that could also help me break through those pesky water types. It's also really good into ground types and rock types, if my opponents so have them. So yeah, kind of excited to use Leafeon, as I'm always down to use evolutions. Evolutions are cute, evolutions are actually pretty good. Like, I'm pretty sure there's no bad evolution. Like, you can call every evolution at least okay. Leafeon is kind of on the lower end of good evolutions, but it's still pretty good. Like, nothing can tank a physical hit like Leafeon can. Maybe aside from, like, Umbreon, but, like, yeah. So, Leafeon. That's it. And so, that is the team that I have drafted for the ADL Staraptor division. The Talonflame division will probably go up at some point next week. Not sure when. Probably will be up by then. And I'm just assuring you now, that team is way more toxic and sweaty than this team. Like, that team, the other team has some nice Pokemon, but I feel like this team is more fun, the other team is more sweaty and annoying. I got some hates to the picks that I did at the beginning. Wink, wink, you know who you are when you hated on those picks. But anyways, that is that. We have more videos in the works. Like, the GLDL draft breakdown is probably going to come up soon, potentially. But yeah, that is the end of this video, and I will see you guys in the next draft breakdown video, or battle video, or whatever. Pringles! Bye!